Wow. I just love my coffee in the morning. Good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo. And as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. Let's get open for business and let's wake up the football G's. Woo! It's Tuesday morning. And I hope everybody is doing great. We had a ball last night on our live stream, so thank everybody for coming in. Vash called. Actually, we did a call-in show last night, which was a lot of fun. We talked to we got a lot of nice ladies that called in. Kathy Green, Miss Jackie. And then we had Vash came in. Vash came in and put a foot in my ass, man. I can't believe that Vash feels that way about me. I tell you what I'll do is I'll cut the clip out, and you can judge for yourself if Vosh put a foot in my ass or what. But it kind of hurt my feelings. But something interesting happened last night. After the show. In fact, I guess because they're in a different time, it always comes through in the middle of the night. But I have a um, app called CallMark that reached out to me last week. It's a new app that's out, and I want to see if there's any interest from you guys in doing this. What they've done is they've actually featured my YouTube channel on their website, and it's kind of cool. Influential YouTubers. I, I feel so humbled here. And what it is it's actually kind of cool. Um, it is a call-in app. So when you have free time, I'm just waiting for the building inspector or whatever, and I'm just kind of kicking back and things. You could call me and have a conversation with me. Now it is a paid app, so you have to pay for the calls. I'm curious if anybody would be interested in calling and talking to me. I'm just asking, and I'm sure there's some trolls out there that'd be interested in giving me a piece of their mind as opposed to having to email and type it out. It might be easier just to cuss me out straight out the mouth. But if you are interested in doing that at all, let me know. I'm thinking about setting it up, but it's kind of like an honor that they put me on their site and stuff. So it's kind of cool. And the great thing about it is I have a lot of things that I want to do. I'm working on, even now as we're starting, on planning for our tailgate against the Redskins. And I want to make this thing, not just for people who buy a ticket to the game. I want to make this an event that people can go to just to be at a tailgate. So I'm looking at buying a couple of TVs so we can have TVs out in the parking lot, getting several tarps and stuff. It's, going to be September in DC, can be really warm, and it's a 1 o'clock game. So we want to make sure we have plenty of tents and stuff out there, and chairs and tables and plenty of food and all that. So, when we make extra revenue, you guys know I'm always putting it back into building this. And there is, oh man, my dream piece of equipment that I want to buy for this. And when I say this, it's going to sound crazy, but basically, the setup that I have here is just kind of scratching the surface of capabilities. And there's actually a streaming set. It's basically like a suitcase size piece of hardware that literally I can take anywhere that I have an Ethernet cable or a Wi-Fi signal and do like a complete broadcast. And I want to be able to do that when we go on trips to training camp and things like that, that we can have multiple cameras set up, that we're going to be able to do different interviews and be able to broadcast it, all over the place. So that's a lot. I mean, a lot of money. So when we do stuff like this, it helps to support the channel. But anyway, let's get that out of the way. I got to tell you, I am getting tired of all of the talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. I get it. The Eagles won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Congratulations. You guys had an incredible season. You guys went out and you made the right moves. You stayed healthy enough to make it through. You made the right calls to have the backup players that were ready to rock and roll when your starters went down. It was fantastic, and I congratulate and I commend you for what you did. But that was 2 years ago. And I know my Dallas Cowboys haven't been to the Super Bowl in a long time. But you cannot argue with what the Cowboys have been doing. I know we have not had the success in the playoffs. But if you look at how this team has been slowly building methodically the right way since 2013, when our defense was old and one of the worst defenses in history, 32nd, because I don't think you guys remember those times. 32nd. Rod Marnelli, Will McClay, and now Chris Richard have been getting talent bit by bit on the cheap sometimes. Draft pick here, a nobody there. They've been putting them in there. They've been putting the work on these guys. They've been taking and building an elite defense. And they went from worst to one of the top 10 defenses in the NFL. And that defense kept us in games the first half of the year till the offense grew up. You look at the offense since 2014, that catch, no catch. That catch, no catch was the beginning of the end of that team. That was the nail in the coffin because it changed from right then and there. It was never going to be the same again. And that's where change began, 2014 offseason. And it was not necessarily planned because we thought we had a team that was ready to go ahead and build, but that team is gone. There's very few rembrances of that team. Yeah, I know we still have Jason Witten. I know we still have Tyron Smith and Zach Martin and Travis Frederick. But you look at almost everything else that's around there, it's all new. New running back, new quarterback, new wide receivers. This team has turned over its roster completely. It's built a young, tough group. Now, the amazing thing is over the course of the last 3 years, I know 2017 didn't feel like a great season, but we were only one game away from being in the playoffs. We had 3 years in a row with winning records. We had 2 division titles. We have been 13-5 in our division. We've made the playoffs twice, winning one and advancing. But yet, somehow, some way, that must have been a fluke. You're not looking at the trend of them, because usually what happens is, like the Redskins, they'll get good one year and then they're back in the toilet. The Giants will be good one year and then they're back in the toilet. The Eagles, they won the Super Bowl, they kind of stepped back 3 games. And the trend, typically is, when teams go to the Super Bowl, they fall off the next year. And generally speaking, they continue falling off. Usually, if you look at since 2000, teams that go to the Super Bowl from the NFC, on average, are about 3.1 less wins 2 years down the road. It's the trend that happens. Take a look at, say, Carolina when they were in the Super Bowl. Take a look at Atlanta when they were in the Super Bowl. They start going downhill. Part of it is because you're playing so late into the season, you have less time to recover. When you've been to a Super Bowl, you've been successful. People start picking off your players, your coaches. And so you don't have that same team that you had before. So you have all these things that are going against you, and of course you're playing tougher schedules. And that plays into the equation. But it's amazing because it seems like the talking heads out there, and even, my man Philly 500, he's been talking so much crap that he's got strep throat. And here's the funny thing. People get on me for saying football gods, yet there's a guy out there calling himself a Lord who's an Eagle fan. If that is not an oxymoron, I don't know what is. I'm tired of all these people that just say that the Philadelphia Eagles have a great offensive line. They've got the best quarterback who can't stay upright in the NFC. And, they're a top 10 team. And then they look at the Dallas Cowboys when you look and say, Dak Prescott's won more games, thrown for more yards, and won more playoff games. Actually been playing in more playoff games than Carson Wentz and never missed a game. You got the best running back in football. So to me, it says you got a great running game. You got a dynamic receiver and Amari Cooper, and you got, added a couple more pieces and say a Randall Cobb. You had an elite defense, a top 10, and you've added some other pieces that seem to be to make it better. But somehow, Eagles are like, on average, about 8, Cowboys about like 16, 17. And I just don't understand where that comes from. And I hope and pray that every single Dallas Cowboy player takes this to heart and says they think we're not worth crap, that we are doo-doo, and goes out there and shows them how good that they really are. It's one of the things that motivates me. When people come at me and tell me you can't do this and it becomes a challenge, I make every effort to go out there and prove them wrong, because there's nothing more satisfying than making somebody else eat crow or making somebody hate you because you're successful. I'm praying that that's what our Cowboys do. So anyway, I got to get to my day job. Hopefully the internet will work so that way we can actually get some videos and stuff uploaded today. And thank you guys as always. Let me know about the CallMark if you're interested in doing that at all. I still got to do a little bit more work into figuring out how to use it and stuff, because I'm technology challenged. But as always, friends, thank you all for watching, commenting, and subscribing. And look for the clip coming up from Vash going after me, and give me your thoughts on that one. I'm Mark Holmes, and I'll see you soon.